morning once again. The Grenada, Carriacou, Pichi, Martinique, of course, those of you listening over there in the diaspora via social media platforms, good morning and welcome to another edition of Masquerade or V Masquerade. Let me say good morning to Tanti Shirm. Tanti Shirms, good morning. How are you doing?
Morning, GT. I think I missed you last week.
Yeah.
What you call that cold that going around now? What you call it?
Is it the barrel or something?
It had to be something. Either barrel or she sister or she brother.
Well, she got a hold of you a little bit, but at least you fought it off a bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things that lingers. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't come full blown, but it lingers. You get the morning sore throat, etc. But good bush could always survive. Good bush could turn on anything.
I sometimes think about that, and folks always say, we overdose in ourselves in a way, whenever you ever taken bush, let me put you on this spot. You took bush, you drink some bush, whatever. You ever do the right dosage, so you just drink bush?
Man, you just drink bush. Well, people know anything about dosage is to just drink it.
Someone say to me, hey, but we just drinking this thing every morning. Suppose there's a particular dosage that we need.
Yeah.
When you go to a doctor, he give you medicine. He said, you take, how much of the millimeters that we need. Mm-hmm. But then we just drink a cup of bush tea.
God is a doctor, that's all I can say. But, on a serious note now, for folks who are taking medication, they must be careful about drinking bush at the same time, because the certain things. For example, if you're taking medication for high blood pressure,
yes, you
may drink a bush that deals with that as well. So you're compounding the medication. The bush bringing down the high blood pressure. Your medication bringing it down. So that means you're going lower than you ought to be.
And your pressure have to be at a certain point.
Yes, so you have to be careful if you're on medication. Right. But generally speaking, bush is boss.
All right. Carnival 2024.
Well, let me just say good morning to all of the viewers and listeners out there. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And sorry I wasn't here with you Thursday, but I know GT would have handled things professionally as per usual. And it's good to be back. So good morning to you wherever you are, whether you're online, whether you're listening live. And if you're visiting us, welcome home. Doesn't matter whether you're Grenadian visiting or...
I saw tons of folks coming on Saturday.
Yes, well, the season is here.
Yeah, lots of folks. So we say welcome, Spice Mash 2024. So I was saying, we have gone through the preliminary rounds. The semi-finals has been taken care of. We're ready for the finals.
Ready for the finals. The process must continue. According to my good friend Troy Garvey, the Bacchanal breeze is blowing. Yeah? And we're getting ready for all the big shows coming up. I think it's starting out this Saturday. You have the Children's Carnival. Well, you have the traditional mass.
Which took place last Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday in St. Mark's.
Historical Victoria, Sunset City. And that seemed to have been a good
start.
show. Yeah, a good start. It has grown by leaps and bounds over the years. And we're very proud of our traditional mass. And
we're happy that folks are still gravitating towards traditional mass in Grenada. The maypole dancing and the wild Indian and all of these things. Because, last week, when the day or two before, when we had our previous shows, you did mention, the dwindling of our traditional way of carnival in Grenada. And to see that, especially the younger folks are still gravitating to it, and parents who are encouraging their children to still be part of it, that's a plus.
We must preserve it. It is uniquely ours, and we must preserve it. We have to find ways and means of preserving what is part of our culture, our carnival culture, as much as possible. I believe that.
All right.
Because we will lose the authenticity of it and become just another wash-down situation like any other carnival anywhere.
Right. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they were saying the last carnival they could remember that they enjoyed fully in Grenada was 2004.
Oh, that's Ivan.
And then Ivan came.
Yes.
Ivan came. And they were saying, yes, we have had carnivals after that. But not to seem to have stand out as much as 2000. The last best carnival they would have said Grenada ever had. Are they wrong or are they right?
I wonder what it was about 2004 that was so
everything was great that year.
Special.
I will admit myself. It was one of the best carnivals of all the carnivals that I have attended. from back then
Yeah.
to that particular year.
Yeah.
It was an outstanding carnival, 2004. And then Ivan came and just decided, hey, do his own thing in September.
Man, it was right after, you know.
Yes.
What was it, 9th or the 7th?
It was the 7th of September.
7th? We couldn't even blink.
Yeah.
You know, according to Wizard, it was like when the carnival over, Ivan was on its way. It was a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had some glorious years. And you have to... You know, you could even go way beyond 2004 and some of the glorious years of Carnival. Even before the soca became separated from the Marche Gras.
Yes.
You go back to 1987. That's the year Jamo, Mary Noel was queen at Jamo. There was big celebrations out there in Crowshoe, Mama Khan, that area out there.
Yes.
St. David's was blossoming. You know, you talk about the years when you used to have the Caribbean Road shows, and the band would go all over the island in different spots and have different. And that's when people got into the music and got to like the soca music and so on. You don't have much of that happening.
Would you agree that Carnival has changed when we start the importation of other elements of other islands into our carnival? That will be a loss what was unique to us. When we start importing other carnival into our carnival.
Well, you know, interestingly that you would bring that point, because you talk about evolution.
Yeah.
And that word evolution seemed to be the buzzword these days, Glen. I'll tell you why. Speaking about other elements coming in is one thing, but the internal changes that's taking place is also another aspect. Baron Lee, when they came here, I don't know if you remember that, years ago, they came out from Trinidad, they went, I think, Barbados, they came to Grenada, and he made a statement when he was interviewed, and he said that Grenada must remember that Carnival does not stop at Point Celine Airport.
Okay.
In other words, he was saying it's a Caribbean thing, and we should be able to embrace everybody in the process.
That's understandable.
You know?
That's understandable.
However, we must know where to draw the line. In saying that, we must understand that in so doing, we must preserve what is Grenadian. Yeah. If we can't do that, then we come like any other place.
Yeah. I mean, and it's where my conversation is leading to, you know, because let's go back a wee bit. 25 years, 30 years of Carnival in Grenada. Back then, being a young individual.
Gotta go to 50, man. In the 50th year, we had 50 calypsos in the semi-finals, 50 of them.
This year, and I'm happy for that. But I'm saying, go back and thinking about Carnival from that to past Carnivals. I leave up that 15-year mark in between there. You understand? I left that off for specific reasons. But Carnival back then, you anticipated Juve Morning. You anticipated the Marche Gras. You anticipated what Panorama would have been like. But there were more folks attending. You anticipated what even the Tron Carnival Frolic. That used to be a big thing back then to what we see happening now. You understand? So I'm always asking to continue to ask the question, why have we allowed our carnival to deteriorate the level that it has deteriorated? Well, you know, I'll be honest. I'm not feeling 2024. I'll be honest with everyone. I'm talking to.
Well, a lot of people saying that they're not feeling.
I've spoken to them. We know it have the way of just gravitating on you the last week or two before the actual week.
Hey, we're the last week or two, you know.
You have a way of just jumping up on you. Sometimes it do that. But I'm just saying, this year I don't know. You have been a veteran who has been around everything.
Is it because you're getting older?
I don't think it's the age thing, man. It's not the age thing. It's not the age thing. But from you,
I didn't realize we were blending with color there this morning, man. What?
That's good. That's good.
I have heard that conversation. You know, interestingly, over the last few years, people seem to think that the quality of not necessarily the melodic structure in the music or the music, but the lyrical content is bringing that vibes that, you know, the hook lines that you would want to go to the bathroom and shout out over the shower and that kind of thing. It's not happening. And if you ask folks to hit you with a song that they figure can, at this stage, can hit the road, it's difficult to come up with a song. Yeah. Now, the humorous songs are the ones that really resonating with people, like the monkey.
They dominate. The
monkey, but what can the monkey do beyond being in that comical way and stuff like that? Can we hit it on the road? Can it win a soca monarch or a groovy monarch?
Can it get that international attention that
yes. So you ask yourself the question. Where are the songs that really would hit you at this time? Where are they? Somebody out there might have one that hit them, I don't know. Yeah. But you ask that question, where are the songs that really, really can hit you? It will come eventually, because, listen, if you go back in history, take Jambalassi, for example, from Moss International. It kicked off in Rainbow City weekend.
Yes. And went through.
Exactly. Big hit.
I remember that.
You know?
I remember that.
So something going to rise. You remember that crazy song from that guy called Sinner, called Job on Sesame Street?
Yes. I remember being the first announcer to play it on radio.
There's a job on Sesame Street. You know, so they rise up for some reason or the other. Regardless of the lack of the movement, something happens at some point in time. Yeah. We may say it's kind of slow now. Yeah, in comparison with years when you had people like a Jamu, you know, and
then you anticipated the Specky releases,
and Specky and whatnot,
and Squeezy and the Randy Isaacs and so forth. Yes, they have their era. We know we say there's a new era of artists who's available now.
But you know, people used to wait.
Different.
People used to wait patiently for the releases of the Inspector or Wizard or Jamu, and there'll always be that heavy discussion as to which one is the preferred song.
But you see, what I'm saying now, back then there wasn't the options available as the options is available now. Now someone could go to a YouTube or whatever and
precisely.
Get the music. No, you had to wait till it's been played on radio back then.
Back then you had
if a radio station didn't play a song, most people would never know.
Never hear
a song played.
Never.
So the options are different now for a lot of people in music. For artists for themselves, they no longer have to worry about, say, let me come to a radio station and, as we would say back then, bust a song.
No, they don't have to.
They don't have to. They don't have to. They could just release it via whatever medium they want now, and sometimes we don't even hear about it until it's been played somewhere else.
I can take you back to even the pre-recorded period, if I may use that terminology. There was a time when none of that was recorded. You had to go to the tents to hear the songs. There was no other way you can hear them but in the tents. Back then in the 70s, I think it was, yes. Paul Roberts, still with us. Paul Roberts, yes. Started to bring in these artists into the studio, the main studio one in Radio Grenada. It was Radio Grenada at the time, to record them. And that's when recordings of music started in Grenada.
Really?
Yes. In
it was
Studio
done
One.
Within the radio station itself?
Yes. We had a huge studio in Montrouge, and he started bringing in these artists with the band and so on to record within the studio, and that is the first set of recording. You know, we take a lot about our history and our people and our culture and our music for granted, and that's where it started.
That's interesting.
And then of course after that it evolved into people going off to Trinidad and Barbados and so on to get their recordings done and mastered and that kind of thing. But it started in radio, WIBS, Radio Free Grenada, Radio Grenada, whatever you want to call it. In those days it was Radio Grenada. In Montrouge in Studio One.
Okay.
Paul Roberts was the master behind that. And you'll be interested to know that a lot of radio personalities coming up in the 70s into the early 80s, they weren't interested in playing local music.
Local music.
It was all the R&Bs and that kind of thing, and the Trinidad calypsos and so on. And every radio personally wanted to be like Rennie B in Trinidad. I'm not going to call names. Rennie B was hot in Trinidad, and everybody wanted to be like Rennie B. Mm-hmm. So they weren't interested in playing local music. But you have to give Paul Roberts a lot of credit, because as a manager there, he decided that, hey, we have to play local music.
All right.
But you also have to remember that long ago, Road March in Grenada was a Trinidad song, you know. A Trinidad song.
I remember times when you're hearing the songs from Beckett and stuff.
Yeah, you didn't get it.
You know, you were not even hearing a Grenada song being played on the road.
You're not hearing.
You're not even hearing it.
But I'll tell you something. Talking about the word evolution, there's been a discussion taking place. Well, you know, Facebook is open sepulchre, and at this time of the year, worse yet, there was a discussion taking place on Facebook as it relates to the groove not being groove, but have a tendency now to moving into the power soca realm.
Yes.
And dear friend scholar, I could call his name, is written in the public. He spoke about the evolution of the music, and making reference to maybe in what umpteen amount of years from now, a groove would be like a power soca. Mm-hmm. But I don't support that. No. I don't support that. There can be evolution, but the evolution must be kept within a certain realm that it represent what the music is supposed to be. Yeah. Now, could you see country and western evolving into being a calypso or a rap? No.
Can't work.
It will keep certain things intact. So I think that a groove ought to be what it ought to be.
Yeah.
A soca, power soca supposed to be what it's supposed to be, and a calypso supposed to be what it's supposed to be.
But why are artists continuing to do that, by the way? Why are they doing that?
Well, you see, it's more than, it's not just about evolution. I think it's about trends.
Yeah.
You take one to move in a direction and others will follow. We've had an issue over the years where guys started saying, hey, the political calypsos, for example, getting bigger scores. Yeah?
Yeah.
So everybody want to come with political calypsos. Why? Because judges are judging, giving more points
for the lyrical content within the political.
Yeah. So who's creating that madness? We creating the madness for ourselves, you know. So we now talk about there's too much politics in calypso over the last decade or so.
Yeah.
But every artist that comes into the arena see that this is what gets the best treatment.
So they keep being part of that trend. As you mentioned, being part of that particular trend.
So what we get, what do you expect?
Double.
All the what we call the regular satires and so on the sideline, because the judges are now scoring the politics real high.
Yeah.
Now, if you're an artist, wouldn't you do that?
I would agree. I wouldn't. Well, if I'm getting if that is scores and if that could determine me becoming a calypso king, I will go that particular
direction.
I will go that direction.
And that's what's been happening for a very long time, my friend. You know, and it's unfortunate because you see some calypsos that are so relevant, great renditions, well-told stories, and they get nowhere. Yeah, absolutely nowhere.
They don't get the love.
I have heard Calypsonians singing on world issues. I've heard Calypsonians singing on social issues in society and so on, and they don't go anywhere.
And they don't get that response from the crowd.
Precisely.
So, you know, but you come sing something political, everybody is jumping and happy about that. I agree with you. Tisham to Jude for a break. Let's take it. We come back and should chat some more. Of course, it's Masquerade here on, of course, Classic Radio and GBN TV. We'll be right back. Don't touch it all.
Fly the Jones, Switch, it's Lava Man. It's all about spice up the Carnival Soca Mona competition. It starts on the 26th of July. It's going to go on to the 2nd of August, then the 9th for the finals. I will be the host. Fly the Jones, Switch. Get there, see you there, be there. Nothing but vibes. Real mashup, yeah? Mad.
Get back to school with Quartz Optical. Get frames and lenses for children and students of all ages starting at $299, plus 25% off credit purchases or 20% off cash purchases. Ray-Ban, Armani, Converse, Vogue, and much more. Get it today and pay us later. Plus, you can book your eye examination appointment online today on www.quartzoptical.com. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see. Offer ends August 24th, 2024.
Imagine for just $15, you can win free gate passes to any Spice Mass semi-final or final show or other top Carnival season shows of your choice. From now to August 10th, every time you spend $15 in Daily Cash 4, Daily Pick 3, or Playway in a single purchase, check your ticket to see if the words "You are a winner" are written on it. Follow the instructions and redeem your winning ticket at any authorized show of your choice. All you have to do is present your winning ticket at the gate of your show of your choice for scanning. But guess what? The more $15 you spend in daily games in a single purchase, the more chances you have to win free gate passes. Compliments the NLA. Over 400 free gate passes are up for winning instantly, Monday to Saturday. Secure yours now. Spice Mass is on, and the NLA grants you free access. Must be 18 or older to participate. Terms and conditions apply. NLA, proud platinum sponsor of Spice Mass, making your carnival dreams affordable.
Flatlands, Park, Ship, and Print, together with Concept Events, present Pre-Day, the biggest show in Grenada's Carnival. Wednesday, August 7th, Grenada National Stadium. Gates open at 9 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. A celebration of the Jab, featuring the Minister of Jab, the Jab Boss, Talpri.
I am the Jab Boss. Certain things I end up.
Also featuring guest performances by TNT's Road March King, Mikhail Tasia, Nadia Batson, and Sass. Cohen Dubois, Problem Child, Lil Rick, Lead Pipe and Status, Lyrical, Wasways, Boise, Lava Man, Vaughn, Terror, The Governor, Skinny Banter, Super Fly and Flip, Muddy, and Squeeze Head, Temperance Dash, and a whole lot more. Also, a special surprise guest. All early bird tickets are sold out. Get your $100 regular tickets right now, and also get your VIP $600 tickets. It is the biggest event to touch down this Carnival 2024. Pre-Day.
Coming up, African emancipation celebrations build towards the big day. Cropover rolls towards its own colorful conclusion. One of this region's top banks continues to demonstrate the power to make a difference. Welcome to another award-winning Home Away from Home. Caribbean athletes ready for the world. Souvenirs stitched from scratch. It's all next on this station.
say, yeah. GBN we say, arts and culture living, yeah. Rock the box we say, I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box we say. I'm telling you, rock the box, rock the box, rock the box we say. We'll be jamming here on a Thursday. Who does man of the party? Tell them it's 4-7 trade. Shout it, let them know where we represent 4-7 trade. Who's the body's passing? 4-7 trade. Them no crazy like
folks, welcome back. I guess you're fathers of God there. Of course, having a little children myself and Auntie Shirms. Always interesting to have a conversation. Auntie Shirms, welcome back.
Well, man, we're back. Hey!
I want to get into that. We were having a little bit of off-air conversation. Yeah. And in terms of the music that we hear being played on radio. And I was saying, why is it that, radio stations in Grenada, those who offer a level of dominance to listeners, we get that limited amount of music, as I would say. Grenada's music 2024, 2023, if you want to do 2023, 2024. But I was saying, I listen sometimes. I would say we have a sister station here on FM also, where you get a 10 minutes, 15 minutes of Grenada music being played. And then for another 45 minutes, we hear music from other islands. I'm not saying it's wrong to play music from other islands. We have CARICOM integration and everything else. But if you go to those countries when they have their carnivals, if we do have a song or two that we have gotten to their market, it will get played. I'm not saying no. But you dare not hear 45 minutes of Grenada's music playing on a radio station.
You won't
hear that.
You won't hear that.
You understand? Whether it's Barbados, Trinidad, St. Vincent. And I have noticed, we have announcers here, or DJs, I would say. Sometimes we can call them announcers. They're DJs.
They're DJs.
DJs. And they will play 45 minutes, sometimes an hour of music that belongs to other islands. I say, I have no problem. I like songs from other islands too. But what I think is our carnival, we have to give our music the presence. You understand? Give it the love that it's supposed to be. And I think, what's your take on that? What's your take on that? Someone who's been around the media, been around radio for a long time. What's your take on that?
Well, let me first say this. It's unfortunate because every carnival time you have over 200 artists. And out of the 200 and somebody, maybe 100 and something do record.
Yes.
They record. And yet we cannot find, some of the same persons will tell you, well, that is what we have. We can't, that's what we have, so that's what we could play. I don't believe that. I can say to you, when I was involved in radio, as soon as the season starts, that's it. Like you mentioned, you could go back the year before if nothing is out yet, or the year. I do recall one year they were very late coming out with their music, and I went back some 5 years down the road
year or two could be
and say, listen, man, bring all your music, or else that is it. We playing that straight through. Yeah. So there's a lot of music out there, but you have to also take into consideration, GT, as mentioned. A lot of the folks on air now are DJs. Yeah. And DJs would go with what they like, what they feel for. It's like they're in a session.
Or playing for themselves.
Yeah, they're in a session, and, that's it. Not taking into consideration that there's a wide range of an audience there that want to hear a lot of their own. Talking about the fact that, your music not played in Trinidad or Barbados. I remember a few years back, I went to Carnival in Trinidad. I played Carnival in Trinidad already. Don't fool around with me.
Lucky.
Anyway, And they had something called Bajan Invasion. Alison Hines, the whole set of them. Yeah. And they were really hot. I think a contingent of them, for the first time, made it to the Soca Monarch competition and so on. And on the TTT TV, every 15 minutes you would see something telling you play local, because they were fighting against the Bajan music entering into the territory to protect their own music. You know, but we have Open Sepulchre, but you know, it's not just only on the radios. You realize what's happening on the streets?
2 years ago, of course, the Carnival Committee had to ask DJs to play local music on the road.
And you ask yourself, why is that? You know, so okay, you have a situation where some bands have some Trinidad DJs or whatever, Bajan DJs, whatever, who part of the band. No problem with that. But these people come and they play their music. That's exposing their music more than everything else.
That shouldn't be that.
You know?
That shouldn't be. If you come to somebody's house, you got to follow their rules.
No, man. They play Open Sepulchre. Do your own thing.
You come to somebody's house, you come to my house, and I say, take your shoes off. You have to take your shoes off. You can't say, well, in my house, I don't take mine off. You understand?
But Grenadians also accepting that. Yeah. And that's the other side of the coin. You know, if you stand up against it, then it won't happen. You know, but when you watch what's going on, they like it more than they like their own, you know. And then you hear them now, they tell you the DJ would start to play 2 songs over and over and over, and everybody gets upset.
Yeah. Or you
2 songs.
You only play that. Before we continue, for our listeners and viewers, if you want to chime in on the conversation, don't feel free to do so. 435-2041, 435-2041. If you want to chime in, of course, if what we're speaking about grabs your interest just a wee bit, and you want to ask a question or two, just contribute some way or the other, feel free to do so. 435-2041.
Yeah. Now, we created history on Sunday.
Yeah.
I call it creating history because for the first time, we see that 50 songs in the semis of the Calypso competition.
Yeah.
50 songs. That's history.
That's history. Stick up in there, Tanti Sherms. We do have a caller. Let's see what this caller wants to contribute. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, GT. Good morning, Shirma.
Good morning to you. Good morning. Guess we lost our audio there for a wee bit. I'm not sure why.
This is a big battle of Achilles here. Okay, so
let's go ahead, call.
My point is that I just get upset sometimes, and I like Carnival, I like we Carnival, I like what we just do, how we promoting music and thing. But for example, Juve morning, no steel band on the road. Steel band men playing jab jab. Is that something we don't understand? When I play steel band for years with Guinness City Symphony, and every carnival we on the road Monday, Tuesday until carnival done. I don't understand. Me and them fellas and them, Dimension and Pan Wizard, we all good. I play with them for a lot of years. But what is the significance of you not bringing this band on the road? You have sponsors. You fight for sponsors. You have a sponsor. You have a lot of players, but everybody playing jab jab, not one steel band on you. Nobody doesn't want to make a difference, and that's what the problem does be, you know. They don't want to make a difference. Everybody doing the same thing. Everybody can play jab jab. Some people like to play jab jab. We used to have a lot of character mass on the road, you know, who want to play whatever they want to play, and that's how we know how Carnival and Juve morning supposed to be. Everybody cannot play jab jab. You have to stick to your pin, stick to where you think. As we said again, I agree that a lot of these radio announcers, because I grew up in the 70s, and I know what I noticed that, well, you and Shirma only well spoken. You could hear you come out in all your voice. All was built for it. But there's a lot of announcers, radio announcers. They just come and talk and say things. And if one Calypsonian is popular, they play the music for the whole day. No, you have to build the contingency of Calypsonians. That's why I'm a little thing now where I'm happy they're having this little, you know, Calypso monarch here and there in the country, you know. So the youths and them could get a little feel of what it is. And by the time they reach 15 and 16, they're ready for the big competition. You know, some of them radio, and they just said, and they just come out and say, them is journalists. I said, journalists where? You know? And the same thing, I agree with you guys, well, we have to stick to the craft. That's the only how your music will go forward. You know what I'm saying? I go on a cruise the other day, you know what I was proud to hear? I hear a killer song playing on the cruise. I hear another Grenadian song playing on the cruise. And we had a couple of Grenadians on the cruise and we was jumping. Good morning. Have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Excellent points.
Great contribution there.
The pan on the road, you know, pan has to start understanding the importance of marketing themselves, promoting themselves. It's a difficult task because you talk about transportation and, you know, all of that. And he makes a valid point. Now, back in the 60s, 70s, you used to have a lot of pan on the road. Juve Morning was pan on the road.
That is what accompanied the
pan on the road.
Pan and then
yes.
And that's what used to accompany, not the actual DJ man playing music. You understand?
It has become a bit difficult for them. They do bring some valid points, but at the end of the day, how are we to rectify that? If that is what is part of the sweetness of a Juve,
yes,
then how are we to rectify that? And you know, when I was here sometime last week, I mentioned that Spice Mass needs to become a more robust operation. It's a small group of people running Spice Mass, and they're doing a great job. But we have to now look at the for want of a better word again, the evolution of the whole process and see where we need to strategize to bring to that next level. And this is where the technical people comes in and so on. People who can come up with the foresight and the ideas to change what is happening. You can't do the same thing over and over and expect different results.
I mean, the same thing is happening every year.
Yes.
You understand?
So I believe that it's time for us to get to the drawing board and come up with some comprehensive plans to look at all the aspects of all these things.
How much drawing boards has we?
Oh Lord, no, but you see, you talk about a lot of committees and stuff like that, but nothing has really been done in terms of the implementation.
Yes.
You may have a lot of documents there, but no implementation, and this is why I believe I mentioned the Barbados Cultural Foundation and St. Lucia's Cultural Foundation as well, who is responsible for all the festivals and so on. It's a robust operation. When you watch the Barbados Cultural Foundation, the actual crop over has its own set of employees and so on, that technical people, etc. It's an arm of the Cultural Foundation. So they operate and they have all their professional and expertise to run crop over. Yeah? So Spice Mass, how many people you have in Spice Mass? Forget the board is the board is policy makers. It's like a 5-member team, you know, that is there for the operations of Spice Mass, or and biggest so festival.
They cannot be doing everything else.
No. So I'm saying this operation, we speak about this every year, nothing changes. This operation has to be more robust to meet the demands. Yeah?
But how can it be done, Shirma?
Well, it has to be about policy and government deciding that let us make this into a more robust operation. It moved from being a committee to being a corporation.
Yes.
What is a corporation really?
Yeah.
A corporation with 5 people, you know, trying to do this job every year. It needs to be much more a robust operation that can really make those changes.
And a year-round thing that it should be part of. And not
well,
people coming and volunteering their time when
they claim they're year-round. The office now operates year-round. It's no longer a committee. It's an office that is operating year-round.
Yeah.
But in that process, what is happening?
What happens after, August 14th?
What happens are Christmas coming? At the end of the day, here is where you would have, with a more robust operation, you'll talk about development, research, training, etc., that can take place within that time. And discussions on changes to be made, having people buying into different things and so on and so forth. So you can change the trajectory that is taking place right now, because where we head in doesn't seem to be the right direction for us.
But is it that are there individuals who have that particular foresight to see that we're going the wrong direction?
Well, interestingly, a lot of us only think about Carnival at this time it is happening.
Yeah.
We hear all the talk and all the conversations taking place at this time.
The interesting
and everything goes dead after a while.
Well, it's been happening for a wee bit now, and that's not something new.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing, I would say, as in relations to that. I just thought that 50 years of being an independent country, 50 years of everything that we should have had done better. Come 2024, we're still going through that mediocre way in terms of things are done.
But did we plan for a 50-year carnival in any significant way? I don't think so. But you remember that
but this is 50 years of carnival already?
No, it's not.
It's not 50 years.
It's more than 50 years. Yeah. Remember, carnival started.
I'm talking about a change to August. I don't think it's been
85, I think 85, it was.
Yes.
So next year, I think it would be. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
But you have to take into consideration that in order for that to happen, you must empower that corporation in a big way to make those significant changes. If you want to have pan on the streets at Carnival, Juve morning, it's not going to happen on its own.
Incentives have to be.
It has to have an overall plan to make that happen. Anything you want to happen, you must plan. Proper planning. Yeah? Prior proper planning. PPP. You must have that. Mm-hmm. If you want to change to encourage Helen Marie and Comancheros and whoever else to come back into the mass in a big way, you have to have a plan. You must have a plan. So who planning for all of these things? The small staff in Spice Mars? No.
Not going to happen. Let's hear from this caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning. What an interesting conversation this morning. Well, sure, in 1985, 1981, that's Carnival was brought to all this. And just take you back here. And let me tell you, I played Band on the Road in 1981 for a little band. And that was the best thing it was. And them days was in town. And you have spaces in town when you play like on Granby Street, where Kentucky's right there. When you see bands inside, nobody want to come inside. Everybody's trying to play who can drum out who. In those days, you had lots of band pushers, right? So just keep going around. Now, the experiment started to say, bring Jab on the Carnage as an experiment, not to stay, but we have Carnage, T-Band and Carnage, we have Mass on the Carnage. But coming over the Carnage, now how much bands on the based on the Carnage was one in those days was Angel Harps. But you coming around the Carnage, you have these trucks, these big trailer trucks, 40-foot trailer truck to contend with these heavy songs, and plus you have up-teamed DJs to contend with, right? So that I enjoy and less band pushers. We go on to motorized thing again too, and there's more problems to come through again too, because people say, where you all going? Come out on the side of there. DJs not cutting down the music. I mean, I recall in 1981, being Secretary Treasurer of the City Band Association, we had a meeting with the then Minister of Culture, Jacqueline Kirk. And Cabinet in 1981 made a cabinet conclusion saying that whenever a steel band is passing a parading, all other music or other songs should be cut. Right? That was 1981. Every government changed, that went out the window. So you trying to play, and DJs trying to talk about to drunk them. So how you get pan on the street? How would you get pan on the road? This morning, an interesting conversation about Children's Carnival Frolics finishing late. The lady on the program with GT would tell you that when she gets to the park at 1 o'clock, and Michael just behind her, and she run that Children's Carnival Frolic to about 3 o'clock. Then the Calypsonians come in at 4. 5, you have the pan, and by 6:30, everybody out at the park. The reason why? The stage was appropriate. They had 2 ramps, either ramps on either side. So when you came in on one side, you go out. So while band is making an entry, the next one is making an exit. Not one-way traffic as now. right? So these are all these little aspects that we need to address. Panel come on the road. When we saw what's happening this year, when Pan saw what's happening this year, it's a good opportunity to say, okay, well, they can't come on the carnage, but we would parade on the carnage. That'd be the best thing for Pan to parade on the carnage. Lo and behold, now, well, the mass return to the carnage because the lights on the carnage are now off. Most of them have been taken down. By the time I finished talking, all will be taken down. So the parade return to the carnage again. So where would Pan find a place to parade? I mean, not just on that. I listened to the lady saying about the sponsorship. I mean, yes, I mean, people play for the sponsors, but you don't want to go and play and nobody to push your pan. You have to grapple with DJs and these big trucks. Food for thought. Have a good day. Cheers.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Of course, as we talk about it, it has to be a plan. You must have a plan. And you hear you talk about in the revolutionary government saying, making that rule. And that rule went out the door. So if that rule was still in effect, then you would not have. And by the way, you're talking about the lady you're talking to, that one she had a mic. It's me referring to.
I know.
Because we run those shows like BAM. I mean, when I see they're having children in the park last year till 1 o'clock in the morning. This is totally ridiculous. Children's Carnival Frolic ending minutes to 1. What time you have children all the way from St. Patrick and St. Andrew when you're getting home 3 o'clock in the morning? Totally out of. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
We have a caller again. Of course, the caller was previously with us, but let's see what he has to contribute again. Good morning to you.
What I'm saying, what is the problem is, the problem I don't understand. Okay, so steel band can be on the carnage. Why can't steel band be in the town? There is some people, old people, they can't walk all the way down by Tropicana. Why can't steel band stay in town as how it used to be? You know, if the poor people is buying from these business people all year, you know what I mean? Steel band ain't having no paint, so you say no job inside it. Let steel band stay in town, go around Melville Street as it used to be before, and people could stay there and jam and stuff like that. You have to make the thing festival. You have to make it festive, so people have option. You want to play jab, you go on the carnage. You want to play the steel band in town. It's a very simple thing. I find. What is the legislation you have to go through just to get that done? A can of paint? Good morning.
Evolution, right?
I will say this though. You also have to take into consideration the steel band players themselves, the bands themselves. You say, okay, put a band to play in town. All these guys going and play jab. Yeah. And you remember he himself made that comment. Yeah. But however, I don't think that we're so... Something can be done to bring all these elements together as Ojuve. What has happened over the years is that the jab has become the most significant aspect of Ojuve, whereas in the past it was mainly the old mass bands. Yeah. You don't have old mass bands to talk about, only the sheet up
people in
crew, my friends. So you don't have much of that, but the combination of jab, old mass and pan is what makes up Grenada's Juve traditionally. Yeah, how do you get that to come back? Again, it's about management. Again, it's about planning. We've gotten to the stage where bands playing jab. In the past, they never used to give prizes to the best jab band and so on. They now have a situation where they have to be registered and they enter into competition. How do we manage that? How do we manage it? Is the management of it? It's hard to manage jab. It's very difficult. Yeah. However, the jab leaders need to get together with the pan leaders and the mass band people and come up with an approach that can bring everybody together.
But the jab band leaders are perceived, but they can't even manage their bands with themselves.
Well, that's true, because
other than manage to give out the oil, right?
All kind of people that jump up in it. Yeah. You know.
I mean, it would be nice if we had a controlled Juve. You know, where the jab are controlling a particular environment.
I don't like to use the word control.
When I say controlling, it doesn't mean that they're telling you what to do. But I'm saying control in terms of
because
the organizational
once you talk
part of it.
Control, in Carnival.
You're rebellious about it.
You're having rebellion. Control is not, that word alone.
But I say, maybe I should have said in a more controlled environment. You understand? The environment is controlled where the folks have the tendency to just go about it in an appropriate manner. Because Juve in Grenada has just turned into a major jump up. You understand? One
seemed to... Should we then probably, because the space that is involved, if you take from what is traditionally Butler House down to the Carnage, the Tantine area, I think there is sufficient room to house everybody.
Yes.
Yeah? To house everybody. The job like to be on the Port Highway, the job like to be on the Carnage. Maybe you can have the Pandong Lagoon Road or vice versa, and change around. So the job know, let us say, for example, I'm not saying this is, the job know that once they get to the Tropicana roundabout, they have to go back through Tantine.
Yes.
They leave the Carnage for the mask players and for Pan to play. Something can work out, or vice versa. So I think it's all about planning. And also, you notice the lack of old mass in a big way over the last couple of years. I remember having big old mass band.
Yes.
Big old mass band. What is happening there? Who is paying attention to that continuing to be an important part of a Juve? Now, you see, this is where, my friend, you come in with technical people within Spice Mass.
Yeah.
Technical people. Because regardless, there are times when we figure that we just leave things to happen spontaneously. But not necessarily so. Sometimes we have to encourage it. Sometimes we have to incentivize it to make things happen. So we have to think about the bigger picture, what we want out of our Spice Mass as a product, as an authentic product that is Grenadian, and how we plan to develop it to get there.
All right. Well, I certainly hope the folks in charge are listening to us. We certainly hope and some way or the other they will make these changes that could bring back the real Grenadian Carnival. You know, that's the best way I could describe it, the real Grenadian Carnival. If it's possible to ever have that coming back at all.
Well, I think it is it can be a mix, but we must maintain the authenticity of it.
That's the direction I would like to see.
There is the discussion that we should only have one Juve, which is Monday, and that the Tuesday Juve should be removed. Again, go to the word evolution.
What's your take on that? If we could get into a conversation about that, where all the outer parishes seem to be having their own Juves. St. David are now taking over St. Patrick's and so forth. There's some Juve in St. Andrew. You know,
yes, Guava as well.
Yeah. What's your take on all the parishes having their own Juve? What's your take on that? Do you think it's a good thing that it has happened and continue to grow? Because some of them say it's even bigger than the main Juve in St. George's for some reason or the other.
One of the problems that seem to be created as a result of that is people getting late to the parading of the Mass.
Yes.
On a Tuesday. Because most of these outer parishes have Tuesday Juve. I think it has to do with the timing that these things takes place. Now, you can't tell me that people are leaving to go to St. Patrick or St. David to Juve, and that Juve goes till 1 o'clock, and expect them to get down to their band for 1 o'clock. It ain't working. It has not been working, and hence the reason why we have bands leaving all 4 in the afternoon, and before the sun disappears, they're still on the route, you know. So what has to happen? I think that we must be able to put it within a time frame.
Yeah. Juve, 5 to 9 o'clock.
And that's it, or 10 or whatever. That's it.
4 a.m. to 9 o'clock.
That's it.
And it has to stop.
It has to stop. It must stop. And it gives people sufficient time to go home. I would not say not to have them at all. I think it's good for the parishes. You remember the economic spin-off that is there as well and all of that. And you bring people into different areas to enjoy Carnival. But it must be placed within the time context and end at a certain time to give people sufficient time to move in. You also have to, the Monday Juve, same problem, people not getting out on time to their bands. Yeah? Monday night mass is another issue. Now, maybe we have to become very, very, very strict, especially with the Monday night mass. If your band isn't on the road by X time, you lose 5 points. We talk about taking away points from bands, but we don't do it. We don't do it. So they figure, well, nothing to lose.
And it goes back to, as you said, penalties. If there are
no
penalties that are being implemented somewhere,
but they don't do it. They don't
allowed to
implement it.
deteriorate, so it continues. You understand? Even you're waiting until 1 o'clock in the morning, or you're on the carnage waiting for a Monday night band.
And you can't see nothing.
You can't see what come across.
You know?
You understand? That's,
it kills it. And, there's something about mass that we must take into consideration. It's about the player and the spectator.
Too critical.
Yes, the player and the spectator. You want to parade in your band and have a good time on the street, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then go in a fete. There's the player and the spectator. These are the two elements that are important there. So the spectators are there to see your parade and see what you have to offer. I saw a masquerader put up a picture of mask somewhere else, and when you look at it, you see the sections in the sections. We hardly see this now. All you see is a mix-up callaloo soup on the road, right? But the portrayal of a mass within their sections is the best thing to look at. Think about long ago.
We used to have it like that before.
Yes, but all of a sudden everybody, when you just jump in the band and all you mix up. But no, not going on now. But if you think about a mass band, let me take you down to Market Hill, and a band coming down Market Hill, blazing hot sun. A lot of the bands used to try to get that 1 to 2 o'clock hot sun when the sun hitting them on Market Hill, and they're coming down in their sections, and you see the different colors and the different costumes in bulk, because that's when you see when they're all together in their section. That's the best thing you can see, a mass band.
Yeah.
Or even coming across the carnage and they have the standards in their hands. Yeah? Or so big plumes up in the air. So you're talking about
Carnival of the 90s and
well, no, even in recent times when the band's coming across the carnage and there's a time to mix. And there's a time to get, especially when you get to judges, you get into your sections. And the section, if you have 20 masqueraders with big feathers up in the air in one section, think about the beauty of that.
It could be
instead of everybody just mash up like callaloo soup. No.
Tisha, we due for a break. Let's take it again and we're coming back. It's 26 minutes in our final 30 minutes of the program. We're coming back. It's Masquerade on Classic Radio and the GBN TV. After the break, folks, we continue. Stay with us.
Did you know some common cause?
Records at the traffic department shows that a total of 1,447 accidents were reported for the year 2012, which includes 3 road fatalities. 2,946 accidents were reported for the year 2022, which includes 8 road fatalities. This is a significant increase of 104%. This is alarming. When a family tragically loses a loved one, does it matter whether by means of a gun or a motor vehicle? To avoid accidents, drivers and pedestrians alike must exercise extreme caution when using the road.
Jackson.
I'm Greg Jackson.
On February 19th at 4 a.m., a gun was used to take my son from me. You know him as Pop Smoke. We call him Shar. Because of gun violence, I'll never see my son run up the front of our steps, taking them 2 at a time. He won't ever take my hands again and dance with me. He won't come into my room and muscle pose in the mirror. Gun violence destroys families. It must stop.
Listeners, welcome back, viewers, once again. It's Classic Radio, GBN TV. It's Masquerade. We cannot be like a masquerade this morning. I mean, we cannot play.
I think we need to get some costumes in here.
We're not playing our mask this morning in terms of the conversation. We masquerading with it this morning, displaying different things. Yeah.
Well, we want to get into the Calypso semi-finals.
Yes. 2024 Calypso semi-finals.
Remember, I told you history was created. And the caller, that called earlier, and he know who he is. If it's one thing, semi-finals starting in Simoon starts at bang at 5 o'clock on the dot with the national anthem.
Well, I thought this year, in my opinion, since that they know they were having more artists than the usual among that they have, we could have had probably a 2 o'clock start.
They needed to start earlier.
They needed a 2 o'clock start.
You can't expect for 50 calypsos to happen within a reasonable time, and especially it being a Sunday, work Monday, etc. I heard it started late, and I understand it is because of the CARICOM. They were waiting for some of the musicians.
The main band is
the police. Yes,
the police
down at the with the opening of the CARICOM. But I laughed because I remember a few years ago we were waiting on the police band. GT. The minister at the time, he was a minister for the town of St. George, chose that same day to open the court, the basketball court in River Road. And the police band, he wanted the police band to be there to play. And as a result, that year we started late. And you know, patrons can be very fidgety and all of that. Yeah. But we found out that it was the minister opening the basketball court in River Road.
So I might
which could have opened on a different day.
Well, I'm saying, Shirma, in this day and age, are we still suffering from a shortage of musicians in Grenada?
That's a good question. I think we have a lot of musicians now. I've seen, I've heard, but are they all at that particular level to say that you would have them as a professional?
Okay,
that may be the point. Maybe they all. But remember, you had 4 band changes on Sunday.
Yes.
So 4 band changes would result to a lot of musicians. Yeah.
But some of the same musicians was playing.
We're playing different in the same. Well, we know that. Yes. But I think they have come a long way. We had a lull for a few years, but I think that they have come a long way in the last decade or so.
Yeah.
But getting back to the semi-finals of the Calypso competition. Where we had 50 calypsos. Again, GT, the announcement to me came out kind of late, and it would be indicative of late planning as well.
Okay.
And I think that, like you said, if started a lot earlier, we would have had a much, eased situation instead of going so late in the night. Because let's face it, 50 calypsos, it's a lot of calypsos. Not only is it a lot on the performers, but also the listeners as well.
Yeah.
The patrons have to listen to 50 calypsos in any session.
Even with the love
it's
for
a
it.
lot.
It's a lot. The love for it.
It's a lot. And I think that what probably could have happened, maybe I'm just suggesting that the inclusion of the Independence finalists could have been at a preliminary level or at a different level. Not necessarily preliminary, but somewhere along the line.
To kind of keep it to the amount that we usually have
at the end, at the semi-finals. I put a lot of pressure there on that product. In terms of the content coming out, no problem.
Yes.
But just I think it was a lot of pressure on both the audience and the people dealing with the show as well.
Semi-finals for the groovy, semi-finals for the soca. Your take on this year's? I know you like the monkey for some reason.
Oh my goodness, the popular song, the monkey. Competition. People have to understand that competition takes place on a stage and nowhere else. And an artist may have the greatest song out, but if he doesn't render that well, forget it. And I've seen it happen even
is a call
coming in. Even in the finals.
Yeah.
It happened big time last year with Dash.
So true.
I tell you that for sure.
Let's hear what this caller has to offer. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, sir. And morning to Auntie Shirma. Comparing what Shirma was talking about the Calypsonian and the long delay. What I think is, when a Calypsonian go on the stage, you don't need a big area, to perform. Some of them, or you can do it. But can they do a stage like it can split it in 2? One part, like when you have 2 bands to set up, you have them separate. Whilst a band is on stage that the operating at the Calypsonian are performing, there's just another section at the stage there where another band is setting up. But them could be doing that while all the show going on. And immediately after, when the band have to change now, you just open up that section, but the whole stage is working for the 2 setting up. Something like that could work. Because I saw something like that in another country, but it was different. They operating like a real coming on stage. The 2 bands setting up on the other stage, another one. As soon as they pull, and again, we don't operate in these things in show. You can pull a curtain so you don't see nothing what happening. So you pull this curtain, the band roll off, and immediately another band rolling on right in place. So that is one of the things they could have. Comparing the beauty frying and the mass parading coming down Market Hill, as Shirma said, the carnage take that over. But what are the obstacles? They're not grouping up together. There's a whole mix-up thing they get. Everybody mixing up. But when the van is unique and everybody in the section that people can see, then that's a good. You have a good spectacle of it. And then, but now we have with all these congestions of the boats and the car, that take away everything. There's not good enough place for people to walk, boat, rope, tie, all kind of craziness. And one of the real, if the people that doing the carnival and planning the carnival, where you can get one of the real view of the whole thing, come from Port Highway right around, you see right over the fire station and right over the tourism authority office on top there. That is a nice place to make a location where benches and you can go there and look. I did it at Carnival and I could see everything. You're controlling everything from there. You can have a good sight. What I look at, when you come down for Young Street by Coates there, with that little thing, there's something there with that just contains a light and two signs. I think it's about time they move that from there, and instead of these big trucks have to go quite down by the post office and turn and kind of craziness down there by the Ministry of Finance, by water authorities down the truck have to climb up sidewalk, box shaking. They can move, do something and get a light there, maybe on a building. That thing there, just make a wrong thing with a big, you could put that back there, you could just paint the roundabout and all the arrow inside and move that around there so all the bands could turn around with these big trucks can turn around right there. And then I think we should have back the pageant in the park. That's what we used to have in the old Queen's Park. But then our stadium now is not properly designed for that. But I know you can design because you have the same entrance of the main gate on the top and you have an entrance of the bottom gate where you can exit. So, but it's not properly designed for that. Our culture is more for open every business. So there's a lot of adjustment that could be made. And then one of our main problems in Grenada is timing. We have and timing is destroying every good thing in Grenada. Timing. No one operate with time. And the master that make this world is created by timing. You have planting time, you have reaping time, you have rainy time, you have traveling time, you have lunch time, you have walking time, you have time for everything, different time. But we don't want to honor time at all. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Caller had a whole lot to say.
I like when he said the master and make this whole made it in time. And they talk about the Grenadian time as well. And that is something that I have a problem with. And, it takes all of us to respect time. Because you have from the masqueraders to the planners to the implementers, everybody must understand time is of the essence.
But there's been a problem from Ian's.
Yeah, ever since. And it doesn't seem to be able to change it,
I don't know if it can't be fixed or folks don't want to fix it.
I don't think they want to fix it. You invite people to something, you tell them 5 o'clock, they come in 7. Where they going at 7?
and it goes back for events in general too. You say you're starting 10 and because there's only 5 patrons, you decide you're going to wait till 12.
You know what? You have to start. Whether you have 2 persons in there, start.
Yeah.
The idea of waiting for people and so on should not be part of your MO. You should just go ahead with your time and start.
Look, because you look at major events, Soca Monarch and all these things, starting late because maybe there's not the amount of people in the stadium.
But that should never be a reason to start something late. Start your show. Keep it moving, But, we were getting to the whole idea of the finals. And, again, you say to yourself, the semifinals with the 50 it seems as though the artists themselves been pretty okay with the whole system of the infusing of the independence calypsonians into that mix. I am not sure, or I didn't hear what will be happening for the finals, whether those who would have made it from the independence, for example, Scholar did his independence song.
I'm looking at the list, but which is I'm assuming will be the finalist list.
Yes. The list that is out, that's the final. No, what I'm saying is I'm not sure. Let's take, for example, Scholar. He would have been the Independence King.
Yes.
He sang his independence song.
Yes.
And another song on the semis.
Yes.
Now, is that what he's going to be doing for the finals? Yeah? Is he obligated to sing what he sang in the semis, in the finals? Now, from what I know, you can change the song.
Yes.
You can sing any song. But it's interesting to know whether or not that will be the case. And that of any, I'm not sure if there are any other artists there who would have sang.
I'm not sure there are any other who has been part of the independence, except for Scholar.
Valine, I think she sang her independence song as well.
Yes, correct.
So is she obligated to sing it? Is that the? In other words, I'm trying to see if that is the order of the day. For want of a better word, I shouldn't use the word order, but is that what has to happen, or they can choose whatever song they choose to sing?
That's where the folks in authority should be coming out and giving an explanation.
And giving that explanation. What happens going to the finals?
How are you going through?
To the finals.
But sometimes we don't hear that, and you leave it to making your determination for yourself.
Yes. Very interesting to note, because is it that we're hoping that at the end of the day we can showcase our 50th monarch, someone who would have sang about the 50 years. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. We have a caller.
But you have to remember there are those who don't have any independent song in the competition as well. Your friendly caller is calling.
Yeah, our friendly caller is calling back again. He probably wants to share some more information. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Well, the way it is, you could. I don't get the word on that already. So you could either sing your independent song, or you could change your song. That's how it is right now. If you want to go in finals with the same independent song, you could go with it. And if you want to change 2 songs and bring 2 new songs, you could do that. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that.
And clarification there.
Yes,
that's good.
Because I've known over the years there are artists who would have sung, they may sing a song in the semis, and when they look at the scoring of it, if it's been low, they may change it to another.
I mean, that's something that's been happening over the years. Most times an artist goes through the semi-final, and then when he gets to the final, there's a totally different song, and maybe it's the first time you're hearing it on the night of the competition.
Of the competition. Yeah.
All right. 15 minutes before we take a wrap for today.
Isn't that something? Time flies,
bit of an interesting morning.
Yeah, time flies.
We talk a lot this morning.
We talk quite a lot. But my friend, in spite of the fact that we're not feeling the vibe in that major way at this time, there is that competitive vibe that is taking place with the artists out there.
Yes.
I'm telling you, there's the competitive vibes, and the fans as well. You see it on social media.
Yeah, you hear the conversation that's going around.
Yes.
With artists, who's dominating, who's feeling who, and who's
feeling who, and who's going to win. But you see this who is going to win conversation. I just want to say to the folks and the fans out there, look at history, and what does it tell you? You may feel that your artists have the greatest song in the world, and there is no way, under no circumstances, he could lose. But let me tell you,
we have seen what has happened over the years.
Under every circumstance, he can lose. We've seen it happen.
I have seen competition already where artists who will consider the underdog, if you want to say
that. Of course, rise up.
And on the night of performing, he just propelled. And you would have said, well, I would have never thought that would have happened. Never thought that would have happened.
I've heard the best of the best forgetting their words.
Yeah.
The best of the best telling band to take it from the top again. I've heard the best of the best going off key. I've heard the best of the best shouting their life out and don't even know that they're doing it.
Yes.
You know, I've heard the best of the best blaming the police band. I've heard the best of the best blaming the microphone that ain't working and they don't know why. So many things can happen. And that artist, under the pressure of the night, anything can happen to them. I would say this to folks out there. Last year, most of you felt confident that I'm Greater was a winning song.
Yes.
And there was nothing that could stop it. And look what happened the night of competition.
It was not the best of performance of that.
Competition happens when it happens, not before. When it happens on that stage, that is when competition.
You know, Specky always have that statement, huh?
Yeah.
Competition does not judged on radio.
No.
And I always hear him say that over and over and over. You know, big up to Specky.
Yeah.
I always hear him saying that over and over and over.
Yeah.
You know, and then sometimes you realize the statement is so correct. You understand? Competition is never judged on radio. You may hear an artist sung in lovely on radio,
That's
the recorded version of it.
But you
But
have
then
people
when they
who are
get to the live
studio performers, eh?
So true. I know lots of
and you know, one of the things too you have to bear in mind, and I always say to people, you always have to bear in mind that judges are humans as well.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you get very tough on them. Now, just to give you an example, a guy gets his score sheet and he see that one judge gave him 45, but another judge gave him 85. And his concern is that judge must be biased to give him 45. Because look, another judge.
Why is my score so low with that?
Why is score so low? What is key here is the scoring method that judge would have used to give him that 45. Yeah? Because giving him 45, the next guy may have gotten 50. Yeah? It means that judge is using a system that is a lower system than the other judge. So that's what you have to look at. Not that the judge give you 40. What did he give that other person who got 90 on that man's score sheet? He may have given him 65. A lot of times judges start out like this, GT. The first competitor comes on stage, and that judge starts out by a score of 50.
Yeah.
Whoever gets better than that person goes up. Who's less than that person goes down on his score sheet.
So the first person will be judged at 50.
Yes.
Of course, performer number 2 comes up, he may get 55.
Right.
60, 70. And
Right.
if the performance worthy of
goes up.
increasing the score.
Right.
The next performer may come on, but he may be performed under 50. He goes down to 50,
goes down
to 45.
So that judge highest score to anybody, funny enough, might be 75.
Yeah.
The next judge started out at 65. So his highest score so his highest score is at 95. So you can't just take a score out of a judge sheet and say that judge scored me so low and the other judge scored me high.
But someone may want to query this, Shirma, and say, is it the right way of going about it?
It is the right way because, you see, you are setting up a range.
Yeah. But I know judges are giving a range in terms of where the performers are, in terms of their scoring, as you mentioned. So I'm saying, you said they may be given a score sheet that says scores me between 10 and 50. And you decide, I'm going to, because of how this particular individual performed, I'm giving him 50. But isn't all judges have that particular way of, that particular margin of scoring?
But you cannot start out by giving the first person
I'm just saying it
50.
Yeah.
You see, this
but
is a danger.
He may have performed great.
No, you cannot start out by giving the first person 50. Because what happens if the fifth person is greater than that person? You're going to give them the same 50 score? You can't.
You can't do that.
So this is why you have to start.
I was just saying it in terms of a range in terms of how you score.
You have to start with, you must
or
pick
if it's
an
from
average.
10 to 100, so okay, let's widen the scope a bit. So between 10 and 100, so performer number 1 comes up and you score him at 70 because he did a great
So then you have to go down and up.
So down and up.
Yes, whoever comes after him, you have to score them. if he's worse than 70, you can't give him 70 or 75.
Okay.
You have to give him 60.
Well, it's already obvious. If the performance is not over 70, you can give him a 70.
You know, let me just say this to you. I don't like judging. You know, there's so much to it. But I've judged before. As a matter of fact, let me give you a little thing here. I actually, when Mikey as Mikey, Media Mikey, won his crown, I judged him that year.
I actually saw him. I saw him once put up that performance on Facebook.
Yes,
it was like funny. I said I never knew. Maybe I didn't pay attention to him.
That
it was actually.
I've judged Queen Show. I've judged Grenville Queen Show a few times, and I also judged as lead judge all the Digicel Rising Star shows in Grenada.
Great. We do have a caller. Let's see what this caller says. Maybe our final caller for the morning. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Hey, listen, man. Good program. But judging anything is not the easiest, especially calypsos. But each judge do have a scoring sheet, and it's tabulated based on the different criteria set up. So performance, presentation, clarity, diction, and all of that, they do have their scoring points. So your performance may be 30, so that's your starting point. So if that performer did not do so well, your max is 30 he can get. So you start him off there with like 25 because his performance was really good. If he did not have clarity, and then for clarity, he has 10 points, let's say, but he wasn't so good, so he gets 8. So that's your starting point. When you tally that, it should come up to less than 100 because everyone goes up to 100 eventually. So that's really your parameter within what how you score. So it's not necessarily having a ballpark score that you start at. You have to tabulate each area and your score. So if the three of us are scorers, what you think would have been very clear for you would not be for me. So if clarity was 10, I may give 6, and you may give 7, and Shirma may give 8. So at the end of the day, each judge will have his own way. You have your option and your flexibility in terms of how you come up with that total score. So sometimes the first performer, he hits it very high, and it puts you in a predicament. If I start this high, then what flexibility do I have in going lower or higher? So while you have that leverage of that flexibility, you have to be fair to the process. So if the guy was really good, there's absolutely nothing wrong in giving him 4 points on the criteria, the various areas that he would be judged on. But again, the discussion is nice, and in a time like now, I don't think you want to be a judge. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
You don't want to be a judge.
No, I don't want to be a judge. I don't want to be a judge.
I heard a young man, not heard. Yeah, I heard. The person was relating to me. A young man say that the judge treated him bad, basically, because he old and he afraid young fellas take him over. You know, how unfortunate. How unfortunate.
All right, Teddy Shubs, we got to wrap for today. Pleasure as always.
Wonderful show as per usual.
Yeah. And
we didn't have anybody in here, but we had a good time anyway.
Yes, we did. Certainly we did. On Thursday again, we'll be back again.
Yeah, I'll be in on Thursday.
It permits everything.
Yes.
It'll strengthen everything.
Once the guy that made the time, remember we had a caller say, God made the time, we'll be here.
Once he wants you, and you have to use the time. Anyway, thank you once again.
Thank you, viewers, listeners. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, folks, that's how we take a wrap for this edition of Masquerade. Join us again on Thursday of this week. Then we say goodbye. All right.